how competent was Shaq really? Shaquille O'Neal, one of the funniest people living with a personal worth of $400 million, was the NBA's most brutal force. How successful was his career though? And where does he stand among the greatest centers of all time? Welcome back everyone. Watch this video to get to know all about how competent Shaq is. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's begin. What is the path to the NBA? Does size matter? Shaq's size was the deciding factor. Shaq's mother used to take his birth certificate when he was 3 to show that he wasn't in school yet and qualified for a free trip on the bus. Because of his stature, Shaq frequently assaulted young children and became a juvenile offender. He almost failed the 7th grade. If Sergeant Philip Harrison, Shaq's stepfather, hadn't intervened, the stereotype of someone who would end up dead or in prison would have likely come true. Shaq needs a strong love and discipline Harrison brought from his military experience. Shaq would receive a beating for misbehaving. Then when Shaq was 13 years old and already 6 feet 7 inches tall, the size of a typical NBA player, he met Dale Brown, the head coach of the Louisiana State University Soldier, while playing basketball at the Army installation in Germany where Harrison was stationed. "What's your position?" Brown inquired. "I'm not a ranked person, I'm only 13, Shaq said. Brown commanded that you take me to your father immediately and give Shaq a scholarship to LSU the same day. Shaq then moved to Texas with the O'Neal family, where he excelled at Cole High School. As a senior, he won the state championship after leading his team to a 68-1 game over 2 years. O'Neal received scholarship offers from all over the world, but remained devoted to LSU and Coach Brown, warming up before his first game for LSU. The entire arena fell silent. Shaq was the biggest human they had ever seen, and as a result, everyone muttered about a monster that had just entered the arena. He had massive hands, size 23 shoes, and a wingspan of 7 feet 7. He stood at 7 feet 1 and weighed close to 300 pounds. It wasn't easy to believe that someone large could move so quickly. Shaq's first year at LSU was quite unremarkable. The Orlando Magic selected Shaq as the first overall choice in the 1992 NBA draft. Shaq, the youngest child in Disney World, wasn't your typical rookie. He held the entire basket, while bringing down the backboard against the Nets and the Suns. To withstand the Shaq attack, the NBA had to modify the regulations and compel all clubs to fortify their baskets. The Shaq was more than just a strong natural freak. After narrowly missing the playoffs in his rookie season, Shaq's fame led to an immediate transition of his talent to a movie set. Orlando was lucky to acquire the first pick in the next round after all odds were against them, and Shaq bullied the Magic administration into picking Penny. Shaq averaged 29 points per game, a league-best 60% shooting percentage, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks in 1994. Orlando finished the regular season with a 50-game winning streak, but the playoffs were a different story. Shaq was the NBA's top scorer in 1995. Penny was a future All-Star. Orlando had the best record in the league and won 57 games. They defeated the Celtics in the playoffs and won their first postseason series ever as a club. Nobody anticipated them to advance past the second round when they faced the Bulls. And Michael Jordan had just returned from baseball. Although Orlando had a stronger team, MJ averaged 31 points on 48% shooting during that series. O'Neal led the way with 24 and 13 points in their starting lineup, and the Magic won the series in 6 games. Orlando atoned for their defeat to the Pacers in the conference finals as Shaq led his team to victory in the pivotal Game 7. Nick Anderson missed both of his attempts at the free throw line but rebounded and was fouled again. He would later miss the following 2, and Kenny Smith would make a 3-pointer to force overtime. The Rockets would win in overtime, which was a devastating psychological setback for Orlando, despite having a fantastic offensive series. O'Neal later said that he and his teammate Dennis Scott were partying for a week before the finals rather than practicing since they were still quite immature at the time. The 1996 Orlando team set a franchise milestone by winning 60 games during the regular season, outpacing the 1995 team by a wide margin. They also defeated the 72-10 Chicago Bulls in a match to go up to the conference finals. Orlando had no chance and was swept away after the season because of the addition of Dennis Rodman, the finest supporting cast in the league, and MVP Jordan. O'Neal then became a free agent. Nobody gave it much attention since they believed Shaq would stay in Orlando because they had a fantastic team. But when O'Neal's contract negotiations dragged on, the ownership started making offers that were less than what he wanted. They signed 6-time NBA champion Phil Jackson as head coach following the 1999 campaign, with an average of nearly 30 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks per game. O'Neal topped the NBA in scoring and field goal percentage that regular season. He was one vote away from becoming the first unanimous MVP in the history of the NBA. The Lakers' 67 victories in 2000 were their 5th best mark overall, They appeared to have an easy time making it to the finals in the West. In the fourth quarter of Game 7 of the conference finals, Portland led by 15 points, and it appeared that Shaq would have to take another bitter pill. However, the Blazers started missing baskets all of a sudden. With 1 minute left, Kobe fired an alley-oop to Shaq, capping the comeback and turning it into possibly the most iconic play in Lakers history. Not the Lakers. Shaq was on a mission as they faced the Pacers in the championship game. Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose fought bravely, but they were powerless to stop O'Neal, who averaged 38 points and 17 rebounds throughout the series. Shaq finally won the NBA championship as the Lakers prevailed in 6 games. Diesel, however, was content with 1 championship and returned to his summer of drinking and chilling. As a result of Kobe Bryant showing up to training camp out of condition, their relationships began to suffer. Kobe replaced Shaq as the Lakers' top player after he lost the excess weight. Even though the Lakers had 11 fewer victories than the year before, everything was still falling into place for the playoffs. Everyone anticipated they would sweep the Sixers and the finals after dominating the Western Conference. But Allen Iverson surprised everyone by playing one of the greatest finals games ever. He stole Game 1 for the Sixers at the Staples Center by scoring 48 points while stepping over Tyronn Lue. Shaq was enraged by this, though. Shaq, Kobe, and the Lakers continued to rule in 2002. The Kings could decimate the Lakers because they had played the best basketball of the year. O'Neal won his 3rd consecutive MVP award for the finals in 2003 with averages of 30, 612, and 4. Shaq and Jerry Buss got into a fight over a new deal and berated Kobe. Kobe retaliated by labeling O'Neal obese and lazy when Shaq complained Kobe was self-centered and didn't throw him the ball enough. The Lakers were still extremely skilled though, and they made it to another NBA Finals despite all the commotion. His final professional high point came in 2009 when he and Kobe were awarded the All-Star MVP. Shaq has spent the past few years competing for a championship alongside LeBron in Cleveland and with Boston's Big Three. However, Big Diesel was getting bigger and older, and as a result, he was forced to leave the NBA after his Achilles ruptured in the 2011 playoffs. Shaq didn't practice hard and had a poor free throw shooting percentage. He partied like a rock star, and his defensive play could have been much better. Shaq's 2000 MVP season was the only time he was ever in shape, according to Phil Jackson, who called him the laziest superstar ever. O'Neal's ego also caused him to argue with coaches and teammates frequently. However, in his first 14 seasons, Shaq averaged 26 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.5 blocks a game. He won 4 championships, 3 MVP awards from the finals, and 1 for the regular season, while 10 times were leading the league in field goal percentage. If we're talking about the greatest centers in history, only Kareem can compare to Shaq regarding individual accolades and group achievement. O'Neal averaged 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game between 2000 and 2002. While Shaq was the biggest issue for every Lakers opponent during that era, Kobe was superb at everything. Many believe Shaq could have won 10 championships and 5 MVP awards if he hadn't played basketball like Kobe. Shaq could have put in more effort, but he did things his way and possibly had the most fun of any NBA player in history. Shaq was living life to the fullest and still managed to win 4 championships and make 6 appearances in the NBA Finals. He is still among the top 5 centers of all time and the top 20 NBA players. That is all for this video. We will be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time.